Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now we start our interview with our dear guest, Mr. Abdel, the writer and political analyst. Mr. Abdel, as we just watched the previous report, how did you follow the statement by Egypt before the International Court of Justice?
I believe this is one civilized and ethic and distinguished speech that Egypt has given to the whole world. I believe that such situation that Egypt has tackled upon and held on all the way since the beginning of the crisis, since the beginning of the occupation to the Arabic lands, is remarkable. One of the historical situations that a nation with its leadership, with its army, with its belief in such right to preserve, we never have changed our opinion. We have never changed our stance. We are standing beside the Arabic rights in the occupied lands. As we are the Egyptian nation, we have freed all the countries all around us in the Arabic East, in Africa continent. I believe the speech that Egypt has given to the whole world has reminded the nations once again, that this is going to be the last occupation on this century, and whatsoever there will be no more colonization.
Yes.
And I'm sure that Egypt is doing the most strong efforts diplomatically, politically, with all the connections it has with all the sides in the Arabic East, in the international community, using those relations as a force to force the Zionist existence back to the wall and to recognize the rights of the Arabic rights in the Arabic occupied lands, and finally to reach a resolution that leads into one state, into two states solution, one state that includes one state for the Palestinians, independent state with all its associations, talking about the police, we're talking about army, we're talking about elected leadership, which is, by the way, this is what Egypt is tackling upon right now, with negotiations with the Palestinians and the leaders of the resistance and all responsibles in the occupied land and in Palestine, to reach out to a common understanding. We have statements given by some officials, some leaders of their resistance, and other officials have mentioned there is a roadmap that for the Palestinians to take and to hold on until they have their whole associations established, and electing the new leaders, and then and reviving the freedom, the organization of freedom, to start working back again after it was buried in deep freeze after the Oslo treaties. I believe it's time for the resistance. We have the resistance. We have the right to resist. By all means, until we are witnessing our lands are free, diplomatically, politically, even with the arms. I believe the Palestinians have every right, according to the international law, to fight back with weapons against the occupation. If not, if it doesn't take the right course and surrender to the international community and the international law.
Yes. So, Mr. Abdurrahman, the address by the Yasmin Musa, the Foreign Ministry's legal advisor before the International Court of Justice, was praised by all analysts and especially by diplomats. As for example, Ambassador Maged Abdel Fattah, the head of the Arab League delegation to the UN, have described the speech as one of the remarkable and historical speeches by Egypt. So how did you follow the echo left by the speech of Egypt?
We all felt that Egypt's tongue is speaking.
Yes.
And directing the speech
so
to the whole world.
The feelings and
exactly.
the stance, the political stance of Egypt and the feeling of the people also.
Not only in Egypt, but all the nations.
Arab, yes.
Not even in the Arabic the Arabic nation.
Yes.
I believe that the whole world have praised that speech by Yasmin Musa, and I believe it has given to the whole world in a way that that raised the level of expectations.
Yes.
And as we have witnessed the speeches right after that speech, the international speeches given by China and other countries, they have raised the level of hopes and expectations and demands and persistence on achieving the targets of the international law and the human community standards and preserving the lives of the Palestinians against the Zionist aggression and the genocide crimes are committed not only since the Operation 7th October, but since 100 years of violence and genocide.
Yes.
There is no slight difference between what the Palestinians are suffering right now from what the South African nation has suffered from the British brutal occupation. There's no difference. Even worse, even more brutal, even more aggressive, and against any law, against any religion. I believe that it's time for the whole world to gather around, and I feel it. I can sense from statements from all over the world, we are all gathering on one direction.
Stance, yes.
Even the U.S., the American situation that are allying the assault, allying the Zionist existence, trying to maneuver to another decision, trying to escape from stopping, so from a decision of ceasefire.
Yes. Actually, you've just mentioned a very important point, which is the American stance. United States have vetoed for the third time the ceasefire, humanitarian ceasefire in the UN. So how did you see this stance? This is the third time that the United States vetoes the resolution.
All right, this is the third time that the U.S. stops such a decision of ceasefire,
yes.
And maybe this is the 100th times. This is the 100th time that the U.S. supports and transport supplies, weapons, and killing machines to the Israeli side to kill the Palestinians. The U.S. is an accessory and an associate in all the crimes are committed in the occupied land. And they should be treated the same way we are treating with the Zionist existence. The same way whatsoever.
Yes.
There is no difference at all between them. They are, we don't forget that the Zionist existence was planted by the West, by the Rothschild family, by the British colonization in the Arabic lands.
Yes.
This has never stopped. It only has changed faces, changed masks, but the strategy is still the same. Eliminating the Arabs and cultivating a weed, a poison weed into the Arabic land, the Holy Land, that is a land for all religions, all nations, all over the world, to spoil that Holy Land, to spoil the lives of the Palestinians and the Arabs in this land that have lived on this land since 10,000 years at least. I'm talking the Arabic rights are preserved historically and by all means, and of course by the international law. And Egypt will never abandon that cause until it has finding a final resolution.
Yes, yes. So also 50 countries are delivering its speech to the International Court of Justice, or the argument to the International Court of Justice. The 50 countries are going to speak until the 26th of February. So how did you follow the words of the other nations? Like, for example, we go through the word by Russia and France. Yes, Russia have addressed the International Court of Justice, of course, over the legality of the Israeli occupation to the Palestinian territories. It criticized the displacement, forced displacement, and violence that took an unprecedented path, and images that the whole world and photos and videos the whole world have seen in Gaza, which was of course terrifying. Also, the representative of Russia said that the citizens have left their homes suffering shortage of food, clean water, and violence led to more violence. And he asked for two things, which is the borders of 1967, also with the East Jerusalem, the capital, and the only this is the only way to live in peace, the two states. How did you follow also the importance word by Russia?
Russia, one of the main forces in the world, that forces that Egypt has tackled upon of the concept that the world should not be directed into one force direction, but more than force, international force, including Egypt as a growing force to regain its own leadership position in the region, and of course later all around the world. This is the place that Egypt deserves.
Yes.
We have our connections with Russia. We have our point of agreeing, and of course we totally stand the same situation towards the Palestinian case. Maybe we have some differences in other files, but we have the same situation and the same firm, ethically and in the most civilized way, and according to the international law, and according, of course, to the commitments we both have towards the Holy Lands in Palestine. Russia has its commitments toward that Holy Land. We have the same interest and obligations.
Yes, and Russia, before the International Court of Justice, have suggested a signing of an agreement, which on two points, which is the self-determination of the Palestinians and also the two states, as I've just mentioned, on the borders of 1976 with the East Jerusalem as the capital. So the self-determination of the Palestinians is also a very important point we'd like, and also the Palestinians are not, they don't have the freedom of moving. For 75 years, they are not having the freedom of moving inside the occupied territories.
I believe that there is no nation in the international community in the past maybe 100 years have suffered like the Palestinians have. I believe that it's time for them, for us, for the whole international community to stop the massacres, the suffering, that living between the dead and the alive. This is no way to live. This is a disgrace to the international community. It should be ended.
Yes, and for its part, France have described the situation also before as France's representative was speaking before the International Court of Justice, have said that the Israeli continuous violation of international law should stop, and also suggested also or said that it agrees with that should be serious action to be taken for returning back to the borders of 1967.
This is what
So most of
exactly
the words by the nations are having the same stance or the same idea of two states with the borders of 1967.
This is a success to the Egyptian diplomacy, and of course the friendly
Relations?
connections
Yes.
in the international community. We have tackled upon one situation since the beginning of the crisis. No displacement to the Palestinians, to any of Egypt or Jordan.
Oh.
And we are committed to the two-state solution. That firm and tough situation that Egypt has taken since the beginning forced the whole world to recognize that concept.
Yes.
Even France,
Yes.
even those powers that are supporting this Zionism, they don't have any alternative. They can just delay the time for more massacres, but they can never run away from the truth. And the truth is, the Palestinians have the rights, and Egypt is supporting the only true solid force. By all means, by all intentions, by all clear intentions, that helping the Palestinians is Egypt.
Yes.
So we have led that trend, we have led that course of understanding and mutual, to force it to be a mutual understanding between us and the whole world, either the East or to the West.
Yes. I thank you very much for your time. Unfortunately, our time is up. Thank you very much for coming today. We really had the pleasure to host you with us. Thank you very much for your time, for your valuable information. Mr. Abdel Rahman, the political analyst, writer, and journalist.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, a short break, and I'm going to be back with you.